Should your government push AI forward or hold it back? Push it and jobs disappear. Hold it and the economy falls behind. Every debate about AI policy lands on this question. Pick a side, simple, right? But something doesn't add up. Countries that pushed AI forward are watching workers get cut by the tens of thousands. 55,000 jobs were blamed on AI last year in the US alone. 30,000 more in just the first few months of this year, and countries that tried to regulate workers there aren't doing much better. The EU passed the most comprehensive AI law in the world, and companies immediately started lobbying to gut it before it even took effect. Push AI forward and workers pay. Regulate AI and workers still pay. If both sides lead to the same place, then maybe the question itself is wrong. This isn't about whether your government promotes AI or restricts it. It's about who picks up the bill. The companies building AI, the workers being replaced by it, or the government stuck cleaning up after both. Someone always pays. The only thing that changes is who. When a government backs AI, things start moving fast and the results are visible. Investment floods in, startups launch, tech companies expand, new headquarters go up. The GDP numbers tick upward and the headlines write themselves. Nation leads global AI race. For a politician standing behind a podium, there is no easier story to tell than a growth story. Picture a press conference in a capital city. The president shakes hands with the CEO of an AI company. Behind them, a banner reads $10 billion in AI investment. Cameras flash. That clip makes the evening news. Nobody asks who lost their job that quarter. And it's not just headlines. Some of it actually reaches your daily life. Government paperwork that used to take 3 weeks gets processed in 3 days. Hospital wait times drop because AI is triaging cases before you even see a doctor. Your commute gets a little shorter because traffic systems got smarter. These aren't theoretical improvements, you feel them. You needed a permit renewed. Last year you took a half day off work, sat in a government office for 4 hours and came back the next week to pick it up. This year you submitted it online, an AI system processed it overnight, and the approval was in your inbox by morning. That's the version of AI promotion that actually touches your life. When a government lets AI run, the top of the economy accelerates, and some of that acceleration trickles down into convenience you can feel in your own week. AI creates jobs and AI destroys jobs, but they don't move at the same speed. The destruction happens overnight. One announcement, 10,000 people gone. The creation happens slowly over years in different cities, requiring completely different skills. In between those two speeds, there's a gap. And inside that gap, real people are burning through savings and losing health insurance. Picture a Tuesday, a headline reads, AI sector creates 100,000 new jobs this year. On the same page, a different headline reads, manufacturing firm cuts 150,000 positions, citing automation. Both are true. The people in the second headline cannot walk into the jobs in the first one. And the cost of that gap doesn't land on the companies doing the cutting. It lands on the government. Unemployment benefits, retraining programs, healthcare subsidies. The company saves money by replacing workers with AI. The taxpayer covers the cost of the workers who got replaced. The profit is private. The cleanup is public. And here's what's actually happening behind the curtain. The companies building AI are also writing the rules for AI. 1 in 4 federal lobbyists in the US now works on AI issues. Over 3,500 lobbyists. In 2025, 11 major tech companies spent over $105 million on federal lobbying. Microsoft had 63 lobbyists, Meta had 55. OpenAI and Anthropic both spent more on lobbying last year than ever before. These aren't companies waiting to hear what the rules will be. They're in the room helping draft them. A bill giving tax breaks to companies building AI data centers gets signed within 4 months. That same year, a bill requiring companies to provide retraining for displaced workers hasn't moved past its first hearing. The first bill had dozens of corporate lobbyists behind it. The second bill had none. The people writing, promote AI on the policy are the same people selling AI. The people paying the cost of that promotion have no lobbyist in the room. When a government regulates AI, it doesn't stop the change, it changes the speed. Instead of 10,000 people losing their jobs in a single quarter, the transition happens over years. Companies can't just flip a switch and replace half their workforce overnight. They have to submit plans, show impact assessments, prove that the replacement actually works before they cut. That friction sounds like bureaucracy, but for the person whose job is on the line, that friction is time. And time is the difference between falling off a cliff and walking down a slope. A company wants to automate its entire customer service division. In a country with no regulation, they announce the layoffs on a Monday and the department is gone by Friday. In a country with regulation, they have to file a transition plan, show how affected workers will be redeployed or retrained, and phase the change over 18 months. Same destination, completely different experience for the people inside it. And regulation changes the math for companies in a way that matters. When there's no regulation, replacing workers with AI is always the cheapest option. When there is regulation, companies have to factor in the transition costs, the compliance costs, the reporting costs. That doesn't stop AI adoption, it just filters out the reckless kind. Companies only automate where AI genuinely does the job better, not where it's just cheaper to try. Picture a company that runs the numbers on automating a department. Without regulation, the math is simple and the AI wins on cost alone. With regulation, they have to include transition support in the budget. The numbers come back tighter. They automate the part where AI actually outperforms and keep the people where human judgment still matters. The regulation didn't block AI, it forced a smarter deployment. The moment a country tightens AI rules, companies start looking at the map. Capital moves to wherever the friction is lowest. If it costs less to build in a country with no AI regulation, that's where the investment goes, that's where the startups launch, that's where the talent migrates. In 2025, Europe's biggest companies, including Airbus and Mercedes, asked the EU for a 2-year pause on its own AI law. Startup founders publicly warned that the regulation was crushing innovation before it even fully kicked in. An AI startup founder raised her first round in Berlin. After the regulation passed, her second round closed in San Francisco, not because the idea changed, because the investors didn't want to deal with the compliance costs. She didn't leave Europe because she wanted to, she left because the money did. And inside the country, daily life gets slower. Other countries are using AI to process visas in minutes, approve loans in seconds, diagnose conditions in real time. Your country is still doing it the old way because the AI tools haven't cleared the regulatory process yet. The protection was supposed to be for you, but you're the one standing in line while everyone else moved on. Your friend in another country opens an app, uploads a document, and gets a government approval in 4 minutes. You're in a waiting room holding a paper number, 3rd hour in, because the AI system that could have handled this is still waiting on regulatory clearance. And here's the part that breaks the whole promise. Regulation only works if someone enforces it. The EU passed the most ambitious AI law in history, but a senior advisor who helped write the law said publicly that most member states are almost broke and can't fund the agencies meant to enforce it. The regulators who are qualified enough to understand what the tech companies are doing get hired away by those same tech companies for 5 times the salary. The law exists on paper, the enforcement doesn't exist in practice. And it gets worse. When big tech does show up to the regulation process, they don't fight it, they shape it. They lobby for exemptions that apply to large-scale systems which happen to be the ones only they can afford. The compliance costs that come with regulation are pocket change for a trillion-dollar company. For a startup, they're a death sentence. The result is a regulation that says AI rules for everyone, but in practice means AI rules for small players only. The big companies don't just survive the regulation, they come out of it with less competition. An AI regulation bill passes, the news calls it historic. That same month, the stock price of the 3 largest AI companies goes up, not because they're worried, because the compliance costs just eliminated 200 smaller competitors who couldn't afford to keep up. The regulation wasn't captured by the companies it was supposed to control. It was designed with them in the room. So here's where both doors lead. Door A, the government promotes AI. The economy grows, services get faster, investment pours in. But the workers who get displaced foot the bill through lost jobs and burned savings while the taxpayer covers the cleanup. And the companies profiting from all of it are the same ones sitting in the room writing the rules that let them keep going. Door B, the government regulates AI. The transition slows down, people get time to adapt, reckless automation gets filtered out. But capital leaves, daily life gets slower, and the regulation itself gets hollowed out by the same companies it was meant to control. The law protects on paper. In practice, it protects market share. Promote AI, and the cost flows downward to workers and taxpayers. Regulate AI, and the cost flows sideways to consumers and competitors who can't afford the compliance. Either way, the cost doesn't disappear, it just changes direction. Someone always picks up the bill. The only question is which address it gets sent to. This was never about pushing AI forward or holding it back. It's about who gets the invoice. The workers who lose their jobs or the consumers who lose their access. The bill is the same size, it just lands on a different doorstep. Send the bill to the workers and let the economy grow. Or send the bill to the consumers and protect the jobs. Who should pay?